Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, we've got a heck of a final Friday show this week for you. Let me see if I can get my audio going here real quick. And let me kill this. 1 second, folks. I don't think I need to hear this. There we go. There we go. Let's see. 1, 2. Zach, I don't hear anything in my earphones here. Headphones. Should I? Should I? You may not hear me, but if you can see. Oh, there we go, Zach. Hit that button, baby. Zachary, what button was that?
It was to just go ahead and just press all the buttons button because I wasn't really sure exactly which issue it was.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the equivalent of the foot technical tap. You know, they say, well, if it won't work, it just doesn't work. Just kick it one good time.
There's one of them.
Just kick it one time. All right, welcome everybody. Friday edition, the Young and Norvelle Show. We hope to hear from Patrick Young a little bit later. Brent Beaird will join us with some college football news and notes. Obviously, college basketball is the front story nationally. Around here, the Players' Championship. We'll get to the leaderboard here for the players as they are starting to wrap up round number 2. You really need to start getting kind of in the vicinity, Zach, of the top of the leaderboard. Maybe this is the time of day you need to be within 25 or so. At the end of the day, be in the ballpark, because what do they call golf tournaments? They have 4 rounds. Saturday's kind of moving day. You want to be in the vicinity to make a move on Saturday to then win the damn thing on Sunday. Zach, have you been out? Do you go out? Do you care about the golf? Zach, what are you doing? How you doing?
I like the golf. I used to play the golf. I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get into it. I've been to the TPC a couple times.
Yeah, and man, my God, I can't remember. I haven't even looked this year what the payout is, but in astronomical payout for the winner of the Players. And, you know, they call this is the Players' Championship, right? That was the whole reason this tournament was born, was the players deserve
it's about the player.
They deserve their own championship. You know, you play the Masters, that's Augusta, and you play the British Open and the U.S. Open and the PGA. But this is the Players' Championship, hence the name, Zachary. The Players' Championship. How about that?
I get that. TPC, the Players' Championship. And they do have the total prizes are $25 million with $4.5 million going to first.
God almighty, you win it, you win.
That's a decent chunk.
$4.5 million. Hey, let me tell you something. If I was out there this weekend, this week, and if I qualified and I played, if I won it, Zach, and they hand me that big golf check, the big one, you know. And by the way, I want the big check. Don't hand me no.
Oh, like Happy Gilmore, huh?
I don't want any electronic transfer. No, I want the big check. If they handed me big check and it said, I just won $4.5 million, I take the check and I hand you my bag of golf clubs. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out.
Hey, a check costs like $500 though.
It does.
Wouldn't you rather? So, but you want the prestige.
I want the big
bells
check
and whistles.
because the big check is going on my wall. In case you're wondering, it's going in my living room. That is my living room centerpiece. You know, a room has to have. What do they call that? Feng shui or whatever.
Feng shui. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be my feng shui. That would be my check.
I think that might give you negative feng shui. I think that's chasing worldly possessions. I think that's frowned upon.
I don't know what you're talking about, but shut your
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But shut your filthy mouth, okay? Shut your filthy mouth.
Right.
Hey, we'll go over the golf. You want to go over that real quick? Let's take a look here real quick. Let's go to golf. Let's catch people up. If you've been trapped in the office all day and you really don't know what's going on, well, sucks to be you, but let's take a look at it. By the way, second day in a row, what a gorgeous afternoon. What a gorgeous day. Sunday is going to be ugly, it appears. So you better be in a good position halfway through Sunday or when you're teeing off. Now, keep in mind, the leaders will tee off around the 2 o'clock hour. And I think that's about the time the nasty weather's coming in. It's going to rain, be windy on Sunday. So it's going to be a fun finish.
Yeah, that's Florida.
That is Florida. But let's take a look right now where we're at in terms of guys in the clubhouse. Min Woo Lee, he was bouncing around yesterday. He is now in the clubhouse, 11 under for the tournament. Today he went 6 under. He has gone 67-66, okay? He's in the clubhouse. Batia, also 11 under. He's gone 67-66. J.J. Spahn, I remember that name late in the day yesterday. We threw him out. He is in the clubhouse with 10 under. He's one back from the leaders in the clubhouse, 66-68. You've got Colin Morikawa, and everybody's heard of that name. He's a couple shots back. He's also in the clubhouse, -9. Roy McIlroy, a big name, one of the big names. Roy, so far, I think it's fair to say, Zach, McIlroy, his career has not gone where some people thought he would be just one of these ridiculous, dominate the tour. He's been good, not great. McIlroy, though, -9 for the day, so he's in the clubhouse, a couple back. And then you have some people, Steven Yeager, 9 under. He is still on the course, and he's got a lot of golf to play. So keep an eye on Steven Yeager. If he keeps it going, 9 under, 2 back right now, but he's only through 7 holes. He's got a long way to go. He could really make up some ground. Tommy Fleetwood completed today. He is at 7 under. Jake Knapp, whoever the hell Jake Knapp is, he is sitting at 7 under. So there's your leaderboard at the Players. What do we got? We got probably 60% of the round to finish today. Several more hours to go. We'll keep you tracking on the leaders at the Players Championship. All right, with that, I promise we'll keep you updated if you're riding around, if you're watching, if you don't know what's going on, if you are. Can you imagine being trapped in the office this week?
Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be hard to stay distracted. To have one of those, like a spring break type feeling.
Don't you have to be very, like if you're a salesperson, particularly if you're a salesperson, this week, you got to be creative with your boss, right? Hey, yeah, and you got to start throwing this hook out in the water. Don't you, about 2-3 months ago? Well, Bob Shakowitz from
Bob Shaker?
Bob Shakowitz from the oil company, he's in that Players Week, so I'm going to knock off that week. I want to take around Bob, make sure Bob has a good time. Bob Shakowitz from Vandalay Industries, from Vandalay Industries.
He's gonna know you're up to joshery if you bring up you can't use Vandalay Industries.
The guy, hey boss man, the guys from Vandalay Industries, they're in this week, so I'll be out of the Players most of the week. So if you need me, call me Sunday night. I'll give you an update. Right, Vandalay Industries. The fact that you knew Vandalay Industries, though, Zach. Very nice.
Oh, yeah, don't test me on Seinfeld references. There's a few shows that I get really deep into. Yeah, that's you can't slip one past me.
Seriously, has there ever been a sitcom better than Seinfeld? I mean, there have been a lot. There's a lot. Seinfeld's right there, man. I mean, MASH was great. All in the Family was great. Some of the older ones. Seinfeld, man. If you think about it, almost every episode of Seinfeld literally relates to something in real life. I mean,
it's a show about nothing, but it's about everything.
It's about everything. Oh, my goodness. The beautiful thing about Seinfeld, you probably know this as a Seinfeld fan, Jerry Seinfeld, obviously of Seinfeld.
There we go.
Jerry Seinfeld hit finally in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Seinfeld debuted in 89. Jerry Seinfeld bumped around the Hollywood scene. He was a comedian. He was a successful, but he was never a knock it out of the park comedian. He would pop up on Carson, and he would co-host a couple times when Carson would go on vacation. But Jerry Seinfeld, he bumped most of the entire decade of the 80s. He was what you would call a D-list guy. He was a D-lister.
Mm-hmm.
He was a comedian. He was funny. He got gigs. He was of national stature, but he never hit it big. And then he and a guy named Larry David got together, and they started doing some writing. And they said, seriously.
Yeah, no hugging, no learning.
No hug, yeah. And what about a show about nothing? I mean, Seinfeld, and now I saw very recently, it might have been last week, I saw on the internet, they had a Jerry Seinfeld profile. and it said the first line of this profile of Jerry Seinfeld, current right now, as of right now, last week, it said net worth. Zach, it said $1.1 billion.
Yeah, that's the one. The goal is to get the syndication, and he got syndicated on multi levels.
And he and David are the creators, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, so Jerry Seinfeld, a guy that literally, I mean, how old was Seinfeld when Seinfeld actually hit? He was probably pushing 40.
Oh man, yeah, gotta be. I would say 38 minimum.
Yeah, 38. I'm with you. And Lord knows it hit like a runaway freight train. 1.1. 35 when it got going. How about that? And he had been in Hollywood for.
God, George was 31. That makes me feel weird. I feel like he looks so much older than I do, and even in the first season.
No, actually, Zach, you look a little older than Constantine.
Not true. I have held on to my hair. If you use sulfate-free shampoo, your hair will stay on forever.
What is sulfate? What is sulfate, number one?
Exactly. Why is it in shampoo?
How do you know that?
Honestly, because when I was at South Carolina, there was we had to do public speaking, and there was a girl who chose for her topic to talk about hair care products, and I was locked down on. I was like, I do not want to get bald. The men in my family were all balding. Right. Everyone's going bald. I had nightmares about it. I don't want to go bald.
Yeah,
I'm rolling up on 34. Still got it.
I can't
sulfate-free shampoo.
And you buy that every day, every week, every month, what?
It is a couple dollars more expensive than the
stuff.
Do
you order it or do you buy it off the shelf? How do you buy it?
You can find it pretty easy at most stores.
What about your wife? Does she have a nice head of lettuce? You got, dude, that's good lettuce you got up there. Zach, you got good lettuce.
Yeah,
up there.
She's on the sulfate-free train.
Okay. All right. Now, does she know it, or do you just put it in there and?
Oh no, this is something that before I even met her, this was something that was already pre-established on me. So yeah, she knew.
What? Do you use it on that mustache? Because that's a good little creepy crawly you got there parked right there.
I don't know. There might be some foliage, but not on purpose.
Hey,
go with the body wash.
You mean like this? You're doing this, right? And then yeah.
I might go and rub it in if it falls off.
Well, hey, that little caterpillar you got on your upper lip.
All right.
That's some good lettuce on that caterpillar too. I can't lie. All right, where are we at? What are we doing here? College basketball, big game already wrapped up from the SEC. Auburn, let me give you a heads up if you don't know. Auburn did get by Ole Miss, 62-57. Zach, I don't know if you saw that game at all. Tip of the hat to Ole Miss, man. They turned it into a grinder. Ole Miss, let me back up. Auburn doesn't want to play a game where they win 62-57.
Yeah.
Auburn is a high-flying scorer. Hell, Janai Broom scores 40, right? I mean, Auburn had to fight their ass off today. Ole Miss, tip of the hat to the Rebels. They made it a grinder game. I'm telling you, that game, Auburn won today, earlier. Let me just, again, get that out there. Mm-hmm. But they were well under 5 minutes to play in the game, and the score was in the 40s. Ole Miss turned it into a grind, probably the only way they could have won. They turned it into a grinding game, and tip of the hat to Auburn. Auburn won a style of game. Auburn doesn't want to, right? Auburn's number one team in the country. They don't want to win by scoring 62.
Right.
Auburn grinded it out, and I tip my hat again, Janai Broom. He had a couple big shots within like 2 minutes left in the game. But Auburn wins the first game today that is completed in Nashville, okay? Currently, Texas and Tennessee are battling in a quarterfinal game. Tennessee leads 28-22, but let's reset. Auburn has won. Auburn moves on to the semifinal game tomorrow. They will play the winner of the current game being played, Texas versus Tennessee. All right, the night session, you will have the first game of the night session, and that game will be around 7 o'clock. You never know. Normally, the night session first game gets started right on time. Last night, there was a double overtime game that moved everything back. But tonight, the night session game 1, Florida is scheduled to play Missouri right around 7 o'clock, okay? Florida, Missouri, we're going to break that game down. Missouri's played Florida one time this year in Gainesville, and Missouri beat them. Florida went, 15-1 in Gainesville, and they lost to Missouri. Missouri is a good basketball team. Missouri is athletic as hell. They've got shooters. They've got They've got drivers. So Missouri, Florida will be after Texas, Tennessee, which is going on right now. And then the late game, Kentucky. Did you see how Kentucky won their game last night?
Not particularly.
Kentucky, let me say this. Kentucky late tonight. It'll be 9:45. It may even be 10 o'clock before they even.
Yeah, it says 9:30, so yeah, probably.
Kentucky will take on Alabama in the late night session. Last night, Kentucky taking on Oklahoma. Kentucky beats Oklahoma on almost basically a last-second shot, drive to the basket. Owe, the guy by the name of Owe, who plays for Kentucky, hit a runner on the baseline, about a 6-foot runner. It goes in. Oklahoma had a heave as they inbounded the ball. Here's the thing. Kentucky has beaten Oklahoma twice this year, and both games, the game winner has been by Kentucky's Owe, who is a transfer guy from Oklahoma.
Ooh, spicy. And, it sounds like they were just a weem away,
Yeah, that's got to hurt. But I will say, as we sit here, and we'll talk to Brent Beaird about this a little bit later, as we sit here in the quarterfinal round of the SEC tournament, the tournament from a SEC standpoint really could not have fallen any better. Earlier in the tournament, Arkansas beat South Carolina. South Carolina wasn't going, but Arkansas needed that win. That win probably got them in. Texas knocked off Vanderbilt round 1. Well, Vanderbilt's already in. So from a conference standpoint, you're like, if Vanderbilt is already in, man, I hope Texas beats them. Texas did beat them. You look around, Mississippi State knocked off LSU. Well, Mississippi State was going to get in anyway. Oklahoma knocked off Georgia round 1. Oklahoma lost round 2 by that late second shot.
Yeah.
But that was a nice win for Oklahoma. Right now, the tournament, in terms of getting the most teams in from the SEC, the tournament could not have fallen any better. The teams on the bubble have beaten the teams that are already in, which is what, if you're Greg Sankey, that's what you want, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You want to get as many teams in as high-seeded as possible.
Yeah. Let me look ahead a little bit. We now know tomorrow, Saturday, semifinal round. Auburn has moved to the semifinal round tomorrow. They will play the winner of Texas, Tennessee. By the way, just to let people know, if you're setting up your trip to go watch some golf tomorrow or when do you watch basketball, the top of the bracket, which Auburn is in, they will play the early semifinal game. That'll be a 1 o'clock tip. So tomorrow, Auburn versus Texas or Tennessee will be the 1 o'clock SEC semifinal. I bring that up because if Florida wins tonight, if Florida can beat Missouri, the Gators will move into the semifinal round. They will take on the winner of Kentucky, Alabama tomorrow. That will be the second game. So Florida, if they win today, will move on to the semifinals tomorrow, and that game will tip off 3:30, 3:45-ish, somewhere in that area. So Florida would be the second game Saturday in the SEC tournament, and then the two winners will meet on Sunday, and that's a 1 o'clock tip, which I don't like. I hate the fact that that the Florida, the SEC is playing on Selection Sunday. Many of your teams and conferences, such as the ACC, they're one round ahead. The ACC starts a day ahead and they end a day ahead, which I think is the way to go. They didn't ask me. So anyway, that's a look at college basketball. Some other things have happened. I know we focus on the SEC and the ACC.
So Auburn, everybody, they are playing their starters regular minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So because that was kind of one of the questions.
And basketball is one of those sports, a little bit like baseball, but basketball, you really can't take your rotation out because you worry about screwing things up. So now, I'm not saying your starting rotation plays balls to the walls, but you different than football. I think you could rest some guys. In basketball, you really play your guys. It was interesting. I know we'll go to break. We're our first break. Last night during the night game, all these games are running together. I can't remember who the night game was. During a commercial timeout, Todd Golden. Oh, it was Mississippi State and it was Mississippi State and Missouri. The early night game, Todd Golden and the entire Gator basketball team was there, and Golden was obviously scouting. They were going to play the winner. Now they're going to play Missouri. So they did a quick interview with Todd Golden on the sideline last night, and he looked very legitimate. I think it was Molly McGrath was asking, "Hey, Coach, great season, big game tomorrow. Not sure who you're going to play," and she basically asked Golden, you're a high seed. How do you play this tournament? And Todd Golden, his answer and his answers were pretty much, we want to win this thing. You could tell a coach speak a little bit versus he was all in. He said, "Hey man, we're here to win it. We think winning it obviously solidifies a number 1 seed. It may give us a 1 of the 1." And he said, we realize if we don't win it, particularly if we lose our first game, we may be a 2. We want. It was interesting. Todd Golden was very forthright, and his body language and his answers. He wants his. He's gonna. It looks like Todd Golden, unless they're down by 25 with 10 minutes to go, it looks like he's all in. He wants to win this game.
I think that they should. If they were to go on a run and win, they would deserve it. They would very likely have a second win over Auburn. They would probably deserve to have the 1 of 1.
You would think.
Yeah, because they're winning what is the general consensus to be the toughest conference in college basketball. You'd be winning the tournament.
Yeah.
Why not? So, they definitely have a ton to play for.
Interesting.
They should be all in on that.
But I've done this a long time. I can kind of get a pretty good feel when I'm watching an interview in person or on tape, on film. He was engaged. He was like, "Hey, man, our goal is to win every game, and we want to win this tournament. We want." And you could tell he thinks there is great benefit in winning this tournament. All right, let's take a break here. First break of the show. We will talk a lot of basketball. It is that time of year. We'll keep you updated on the Players' Championship, of course, here on the Young and Norvelle Show. Hope to hear from Patrick and Brent Beaird a little bit later. As we get a break, we're going to break down Florida, 7-ish o'clock tip-off tonight with Missouri. Missouri 1-0 so far this year against Florida. Missouri went into Gainesville and put the only loss on the Gators at home. By the way, we're going to break that game down. By the way, that game score at halftime, Missouri led 50-34. They jumped all over Florida way back when. And we'll take a look at the box score, who did what from the game. I know it was a long time ago. And you could kind of hear and see it in Todd Golden's mannerisms and talk. They think they owe one to Missouri. Missouri is a good basketball team. Missouri's got a lot of stuff. They've got athleticism. They've got some great shooters. They've got a toughness, and they like to run the court. Missouri's good. Missouri's good. Could be a fun game tonight. The first game of the night session, Florida, Missouri in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. We'll track that tournament, what's going on with the ACC, what's going on national. Basketball season is upon us. Let's take our first break of the Friday afternoon. It is the Young and Norvelle Show right here on Action Sports Jacks.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, we promised to keep you updated on the Players' Championship. We'll get right back to the leaderboard as we speak. But it is really basketball season right now. The conference, the big boy Power 4 conferences are going on. We're going to go over some non-SEC news and notes in a moment. But let me update you. The ongoing game right now in the SEC men's tournament, getting late, just under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Tennessee leads Texas 37-33. Tennessee, a team that still has a little bit of a hope. If they could run through this thing, Tennessee's got a chance to grab a 1 seed overall. We'll track that. But Tennessee leading Texas 37-33. That's the second game. If you're not aware, Auburn in a absolute low-scoring dogfight earlier today. Auburn opened up the day of play in the SEC tournament with a 5-point win, 62-57 over Ole Miss. Ole Miss really massaged that game into the type of game they could have won. Janai Broome hit a couple big shots in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and Auburn survives to move on to the winner of Texas. Tennessee will track that game tonight. 2 games in the night session in Nashville with regard to the SEC men's basketball tournament. Florida will play Missouri in the first game. That is scheduled for 7 o'clock if the first game ends on time. Unlike last night, the second afternoon game last night went double overtime. That pushed everything back. My God, that Oklahoma-Kentucky game ended at like 12:30 in the morning. Florida plays Missouri 7-ish, we'll say, probably tip around 7:30, 7:45. And then the late game tonight will be Kentucky. Kentucky will take the court again tonight, and they will take on Alabama. And then those two winners. So if the seeds hold right now with regard to the bottom half of the bracket, if the seeds hold, Florida and Alabama will play a third time tomorrow. That would be the second game. Just throw this out for Gator Nation. If Florida wins tonight, they would move on to the semifinal, and Florida, Game 11, they would be the Game 11 winner. Game 11 winner will play tomorrow, the second semifinal game, and that's going to be around 3:30, 3:45. Tomorrow, the semifinals in the SEC are scheduled 1 and 3:30. So Florida would be the second game tomorrow. Just getting that out if you're starting to make plans for a Saturday trip and you're a Gator fan. If you're a Saturday tripper out to the golf tournament, just know the Gators, if they win tonight, they would play the second semifinal game tomorrow, 3:30, 3:45, 4, somewhere in that vicinity. So plan accordingly. So there you have it. Again, late in the first half, Tennessee leading Texas 39-33. So they're stretching it out a little bit. Are the Volunteers on Texas? Texas, I think's done enough. Their wins, I think they have done enough. Boy, I had been saying, Zach, that I think the SEC with 16 teams in the conference, I was always saying all year, you know what? I think it's going to finally settle in at 12.
That's probably a magic.
There is a real good chance if everything breaks, they could get 14 now. They could. I never bought into 14. That's why I kind of went 12. If they get 14 of 16, my goodness, Zach.
I think people might look for a reason to be a hater, though.
Maybe. And I'm glad you went there because I want to spin this off. The SEC, obviously, their catchphrase is what? When they say that, what is their little catchphrase?
It just means more.
It just means more. And while the SEC was winning 7 and 8 national titles in football in a row, the SEC loves to say that. It just means more, and it's fun. It's a dig. Hey, Big Ten, it just means more. Right. SEC. Well, the last couple of years in football, you've heard the derisive cheer a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You've heard people on interviews and stuff say, well, the SEC, and they've picked at the SEC a little bit from the football standpoint. Now, I'm going to bring it to basketball, Zach, and I want your opinion on this. The way all the national guys, this is not just SEC reporters, the national guys that really know college basketball, they are the ones that have piled on and said, this looks like the best college basketball conference season in the history of college basketball, right?
Yeah.
That's not just SEC people.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, that's been a phrase that's been said other than the guy that said, they were mediocre for having a 500 record amongst or so.
And he got mixed up there.
outside of that,
But you would admit that since the turn of the year, at least, since probably mid to late January, there's been a consensus from everybody that, my God, we've never seen a conference like this year.
And it kind of makes sense that the best conference would exist this year because the NIL has taken place and guys are staying in college longer. And this is kind of one of the first years that we've seen an uptick in the number of upperclassmen that you're getting. Yeah. And so guys are just – you get more seniors, you get more juniors, you get more talented players, and that's everywhere. And so that it has a multiplication effect across the whole sport.
And all that's wonderful. But where I'm going to go now,
here we go.
With as much regular season fanfare as the SEC basketball conference has gotten, men's basketball conference has gotten, they really need to deliver a national title.
Yeah, for it to really mean more.
What happens if Monday night, April 7th, at 11:04, there's a ladder put down on the court inside the Alamo Dome. Somebody has some of those snub-nose safety scissors. The snub nose.
Yes.
The safety scissors. and somebody is climbing up that ladder in the Alamo Dome, site of the Final Four, that Monday, April 7th, about 11:04, because that game will take forever. It's a national championship game.
Oh, God, yeah.
If somebody is climbing that ladder, the first player, each player gets to go up there, and then the coach kind of at the end, you know the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
If that first player going up that ladder is not wearing an SEC basketball jersey, you have to kind of call it a failure, and the SEC will get picked at, I think, nationally.
Yeah, the whole "it just means more" thing will become more of a mockery,
I think
even more so than it already is.
And don't you think leading the charge will be the Big Ten?
Especially if one of their schools happens to be the ones
if
that wins
one
it.
of theirs wins it,
Yeah.
especially. But either way, I think the Big Ten, okay, SEC. But I think, with the to the victor goes the spoils. But the SEC, be it Auburn, be it Florida, be it Alabama, be it Tennessee, be it Texas A&M, the SEC needs to win the national title in basketball to back this thing up, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be an egg on your face moment because, and it's not really any fault of the individual schools themselves. It's really just the media hype machine that it has become.
And the answer is not what I say all the time, and I will always say this while I'm on the air. It's hard to win championships. That's not the answer.
In this sport in particular, it's the hardest.
It really is. You got to go. No matter how you slice it or dice it, you've got to win 6 games in a row. And I always point this out: the teams with the best record. Auburn this year was something in 3. Florida was something 27-4. Those are great records.
Yeah.
But if you look at the math, if you lined up all the best. The 5 teams with the best regular season record, if you lined up their schedules, there aren't a lot of times where you win 6 straight without a loss.
Yeah.
And generally, if you're winning 8 or 9 or 10 in a row and then a loss, there's a couple cupcakes in there. Well, that help you get to 12, right? I mean, to go 27-4, I get it. You've got to have a run where you won 9 in a row and maybe 9 more in a row.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I get that. But if you double examine those 9 in a row, there's a couple of Rhode Islands and Southern Misses. Well, March Madness, after that first round, you got to win 6 in a row to win it, and there aren't a whole lot of cupcakes in there.
Even if it's a Cinderella team, they're going to be hot.
They are going to be hot.
Yeah.
And Zach, theoretically, if the tournament is laid out and bracketed correctly, every game, whoever the champion is, you've got to win 6 in a row. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, there's no bye week.
There is no off. If you go 5-1, you lost in the championship.
Right.
If you go 4-1, you lost in the Elite Eight, the Final Four. If you go 6-0, theoretically, there aren't cupcakes in that thing. It's supposed to get harder each round if it was laid out right.
In theory, yeah.
In theory, and it's pretty close to that. There's some exceptions.
For the most part, yeah.
But when you win 12 in a row in your regular season, and that first game of your 12 started December 27th, and that last game of your 12 in a row in the regular season was January 30th, there's a couple cupcakes in there. Even they may be conference cupcakes or not, but theoretically there are no cupcakes in your 6-game run to win it all in college basketball. It's hard, man.
No,
it's
there's
hard.
not going to be, and that's why kind of Gator fans need to go into it with the expectation that your team is really good, and people are really hammering home this point that they are actually better than the 06-07 team. I've heard that take quite a lot lately, but I mean. And that may be true in terms of overall talent if they played each other, but it just because that is true, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to go on a 6-game win streak.
Nope.
It's got to be the toughest sport to win the championship.
I think it is.
You compare it to the NFL where
I really think it is.
Like the Chiefs get the 1 seed. All they got to do is just beat the Texans, barely above mediocre Texas team. They're in that championship.
In the NFL, you have the chance to play in your home stadium.
Yeah.
The college basketball tournament, those are 6 neutral. Now, I know there may be Jacksonville host Florida, and I know Greensboro may host Duke, but you're playing on neutral sites.
Yeah.
You're not rolling into Arrowhead Stadium or Texas Stadium, right?
Yeah, you don't get to have your home locker room.
You don't see any, and that is across the board. You might get close to a place that's near your home city, but you have to win 6 at worst neutral site games. There are no home games.
Yeah.
And you've heard me for about 2 months now. I said, guys, I'm telling you, I truly believe on a neutral court, Florida's the best team in the country. Now, if Florida had to go wrestle a healthy Duke team in Cameron Indoor, I don't know if I'd pick Florida. If Florida had to go face a return game at Neville Arena, which is Auburn's home court, and Florida won there, I don't know if I'd pick them. If Florida had to go knock off the Houston Cougars or the Alabama Crimson Tide or Tennessee in Knoxville, I don't know if I'd pick them. You don't have to do that in March Madness. You do not play on somebody's home court. You don't have to go knock off Kentucky in Lexington. The first 2 rounds are played in Lexington, but Kentucky can't play there. They can't get sent.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that makes it. There are no home games. It's not like, it's not like to get to the college baseball finals, you get to win the super regional, and it may be in your place.
Right.
You get to knock off somebody twice. Well,
and you can also lose games.
Yeah. There are no your places in the March Madness. March Madness is as close to neutrality as you can get, probably. There are no home games in March Madness.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the college football playoff pretty neutral. Once you get past that opening round.
But that opening round,
yeah.
a couple teams played in their own stadium.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then all 4 teams with the bye week lost, too, I believe.
The NFL, the first week or two, the higher seed gets the home game.
Oh, yeah, the NFL is the least balanced, or it's at least where the 1 seed is the most important. Because then not only when you're the Chiefs, you get the bye week, you get to play against the Texans, but then you also make the Ravens and Bills play against each other.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And one of those has got a home site.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like the NFL says, okay, what's the NFL? They have how many? 14 playoff teams?
Yeah, 7 on each side.
So that means you have 15 total games. It's not like the NFL goes, okay, we're in the playoffs. We've got 15 neutral sites everybody gets to play at. No.
Right.
No. March Madness is about as close as you can get. There are no home games.
Yeah.
There are no home games. And to win it, you can't go 5-1. You can't go 4-2. You have to go 6-0. Theoretically, as the pyramid goes up, the competition is supposed to ratchet up. Now, they miss. Don't get me wrong. They miss on seeding. But the goal of March Madness is the winner wins 6 in a row, and every game they beat a little bit better opponent and a little bit better opponent and a little bit, right? That's the theory.
Right, yeah.
That's the theory. Now, I'm well aware. I've seen a million of these. There are times where you get a break in the tournament because somebody, and you hear me say this all the time, somebody can do the heavy lifting for you. A lower seed can knock off a higher seed, and you don't have to wrestle that higher seed. I get that. But the theory of March Madness, I think, makes it the toughest. And do we have Brent Beaird? I think we hear Brent.
Brent Beaird, no.
No, not yet? Okay. I'll tell you what.
No, he's pulling up the chat so you can see Rodney says that Missouri is going to beat Florida today.
Rodney, I don't think that is out of the realm of, they've beat them once. Missouri's good. I don't know if you watched last night. Mississippi State pushed them. Missouri's good.
Oh, yeah.
Missouri has had a little bit of a toe stub the last 4 or 5 games. Missouri, they've got a lot of stuff. They've got a big, thick guy, Gray. They've got that left-handed guy. Gosh, his name is escaping me right now. Bates. They've got a left-handed driver long. They've got maybe the best shooter in the country in Grill. We're going to break down Florida, Missouri, the box score from their first and only. They only played once. They didn't play twice. They played once in Gainesville, and Missouri beat Florida. Should be a hell of a game tonight. Can't wait. Let's take a break, come back. We hope to hook up with Brent Beaird. I want to get into that Missouri-Florida box score. Interesting game from Gainesville. Boy, the Tigers coming off an 0-8 18 conference record. They jumped all over Florida and knocked them down in Gainesville. Nobody else was able to do that. We'll talk about that game. March Madness off and running. We'll also catch you up on the Players' Championship on the other side of the Young and Norvelle Show.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com. And they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, we welcome our buddy Brent Beaird, our college football and basketball analyst. He's as good as anybody in the business. Before we do that, Brent, I've got to say, this guy, Zach Rothrock here, our producer, driving me nuts, Brent, because word is he was reading some of your news and notes or something, and he said he saw a early Heisman list with Lenora Sellers is on the list. Hey, the South Carolina quarterback. So what do you think about that? Lenora Sellers.
Well, he will be.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, he could be pretty high on the list. That that will be determined by how much he grows up. So
yeah, and you know. And Zach's beat me down during the break on March 14th. To hell with the second round of the players, the quarterfinals of the SEC men's basketball tournament, to hell with all that. Hey, make sure Brent talks about Lenore's Sellers and the Heisman Trophy.
Well, yeah, you don't want to bury the lead, yeah.
Don't want to bury the lead.
Play the hooks.
right.
Hey, Brent Beaird, man, we got a lot to talk about. Hey, by the way, halftime. Tennessee in a dogfight with Texas. Tennessee leading 41-38. Game number 2 of the quarterfinals today in Nashville of the SEC basketball tournament. Brett, let's go back to the first game. I was impressed with Auburn and their win. And let me tell you why I was impressed. I want to get your opinion. Ole Miss played the game that they had to play. They turned it into
they sure did.
That game had like 3 minutes left and it was in the 40s. It ended up 60. It ended up 60-57. Auburn doesn't want to play that kind of game. Ole Miss controlled the pace of the game, and I was impressed. Boy, Broome, like he did even though it was a loss to Alabama, Broome hit big shots late in the Alabama loss. Boy, Broome hit some big shots in the last 5 minutes. Good win for Auburn out of their comfort zone.
That's an astute observation because Chris Beard, the Ole Miss coach, in his defensive philosophy, he knows that's the only way that they're going to win.
Yeah.
And that's what they were going to do. Now Ole Miss will be in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they're in.
Now we have no idea. They're a 5th seed at this point, and we have no idea how they were due. Now, I've got an observation, and I bet you picked up on this. Okay, number one, tell me what this means. Calling some of the SEC games is none other than Jay Billis.
Yes.
At the halftime host a few moments ago was Reese Davis.
I was stunned.
It wasn't Dari Noka.
Yeah.
It wasn't Peter Burns.
Yeah.
Okay, Terry, you're a pretty smart guy that about 75% of the females in Jacksonville would agree to.
Yes, they will.
Now, right, Zach. So, so Terry, tell me on that little bit of information. What does that mean?
Boy, I tell you, you hit it. When I heard Jay Billis doing SEC tournament, I went, whoa. And, I get it. They're under contract here and there, but Billis and the big boys doing the SEC early rounds, by the way. Early rounds, not Sunday, not just Sunday.
Right.
Very, very impressive. Jay Billis, love him or hate him, and I like him. He's not my best, but he knows what he's talking about. And I've even thought there are times where he gives the SEC the short end of the stick over years. He has been their cheerleader. He's been the SEC cheerleader nationally. I'm with you. Very impressive that they've sent the biggest of the big boys. I mean, those are the biggest of the big boys.
Now, because, and you've seen this like I have, those guys usually don't come in till Saturday.
Absolutely.
In the semifinal, right? Isn't that what you remember like I do?
Brent, that's what blew me away. I'm going, I heard, I'm watching the game either last night or the night before, and it's pregame, and they're throwing it to the court side, and I go, that's Jay Billis. This is a quarterfinal game. This is an opening round game.
That's right. Now, tell me, before this year, the guys we just mentioned, and you'll pick up on this real quick too, where would they normally have been?
Atlantic Coast Conference, baby.
That's exactly right.
The Atlantic Coast Conference. And speaking of, unfortunately, we have to sit through another Duke, North Carolina game. Oh my God! And I get it. There's intrigue tonight. There's intrigue around that game because of the injuries. But oh my God! And good for North Carolina. They won 2 games to get there. But oh my God, they're going to blow that up like it's the Celtics and the Lakers, like they always do, right?
But I tell you what, though, Florida, Missouri, Kentucky and Alabama, Tennessee and Texas, far superior games frankly, than anything going on in the ACC today.
By far. Tennessee up by 5, 45-40. Still early in the second half on Texas. Texas, I think, has punched her. Boy, let me back up. If you're Greg Sankey, you can't really pull. You're the commissioner of the SEC, but your goal, you want to break that record. You want to have 12 or more in the tournament from your conference. That would break the Big East, I think, their record. Boy, the first few days, if you want to get as many teams in as you can, you want your higher seeds knocking off lower seeds that are already in. It has fell perfect. Arkansas, we knew was going to beat South Carolina. Texas goes out and beats Vandy. Vandy's already in. Big deal. You look around, Oklahoma knocks off Georgia round 1 to give Oklahoma one more win. Georgia's in, so big deal. Boy, this thing, in terms of getting the maximum number of teams in for the SEC, this thing has fallen perfect for Greg Sankey.
It has.
I think.
Yeah. Now, Lenardi's saying probably 13.
Yeah.
From the SEC. Now this was from this morning, okay? You had in bracketology, Mississippi State was an 8 seed, Georgia a 9, Arkansas, Vandy, and Oklahoma were 10.
Wow.
And Texas was the first team out. Now, Texas is either the last 4 byes or the last 4 in.
Yeah,
that's what these teams are. Now, this is going to lead to a bigger question coming up in a few minutes, but that do you, Terry? I'm going to use that trust word again. The teams we just mentioned, do you trust any of those teams?
Yeah.
In the first 2 rounds? Oh, okay. Georgia, Arkansas, Vandy, and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What is your trust level with those teams that they could reach the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I'll tell you, they got to get a good draw, but you're right. Those 4 this year, they've been maddening. I mean, I've seen Vanderbilt. Hell, the night Georgia beat Florida, they were going to beat a lot of. They were going to beat a lot of teams that night. That wasn't real Georgia. I've seen Vanderbilt as you have. There's been a game or two where Arkansas put it all together, and but no, trust-wise, not a bit. Not a bit.
Well, and listen, I know people think we hate him and pick on him, but we really don't. We just know how he coaches. In that Georgia-Oklahoma game, before I went to bed at midnight, and just left it there. And we need to get on that in a few minutes too.
We do. We absolutely do.
Factor. But here's the reality. I just thought, my Lord, this is Mike White to a T.
Well, you text me as I'm putting my head on the pillow. You go,
yes.
Oklahoma's on a 16-0 run in the second half.
16-0 late in the game. Terry, who in the world does that? If you're going playing I know these teams aren't infallible, but who in the world can do that?
I went to bed. When you text me that, I went to bed. I said, Oklahoma's going to win. Mike White is being Mike White. I went to bed. And you're right, Brent. We're spinning off here. My God. I ended up going to bed because I go, this game's going to end at 12:32 in the morning. And I get it. There was a double overtime game before it, but my God. Yeah. That game tipped off at like 10:40 or whatever.
It was. Terry, Larry Vaught, who covers Kentucky basketball, I heard him say this morning that it was basically over at 105.
Isn't that amazing? That's just wrong.
Now, listen, if we need to go to break, we'll do that.
No, we're fine. We're going to keep it here.
But look, Terry, tell me, when you're the biggest of the big boys, as the SEC is, now with your vast television experience that you've had over the years, Terry, that they start the first game at 1. Tell me, please, why can the SEC in these early rounds, when they have more games, why can they not start these games either at 11 a.m. Eastern time or noon?
It blows me away. It blows me away. And then you look at the ACC; they're tipping a bunch of games off at noon.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching 2 days ago, whenever it was, 1 or 2 days. Duke led things off, tipping off at noon, and the SEC tipped off an hour later. First game, hour. It is really, really, really tough. Brent, we're watching Tennessee. They're trying to hold on. They've got a 5-point lead, still with a long way to go in the second half. We'll track that game. The night session. Kentucky takes on Alabama in the late game. Bama 2-0 over Kentucky this year. Bama won the first game in Lexington 102-97, and then Bama took the second game in Tuscaloosa 96-83. What's the threat level? Kentucky, they're missing one player. I think if you're Kentucky, if you're Kentucky looking at those two games, Bama scored 102 and 96. If you're Kentucky, is your only realistic chance to win if you can keep the game in the mid to low 80s? And I know that's hard against Alabama, but it looks like Kentucky can't outscore Alabama.
Alabama's averaging 91 points a game and Kentucky 85. Now, I mentioned Larry Vaughn a minute ago. What Larry also said earlier today was he really does think Kentucky can win without the Butler kid. The Butler kid, that's who you were talking about a few minutes ago.
They're missing.
He got hurt. He's maybe their best defender, and he thinks that's going to be really tall order for them to be able to win. Now, I can tell you this. Alabama, if they beat Kentucky 3 times in one season, I don't care how down Kentucky is. I mean, that is a feat.
It really is. I mean, that's Kentucky basketball.
It is, and that's still the jersey. Now listen to this, Terry.
Yeah.
Kentucky has eliminated Alabama from the SEC tournament in 06, 07, 2010, 11, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Well, I have a couple of questions about that. Number one, it would be I get Kentucky's superiority. I really do. And believe it or not, this is the first time that Nate Oates has played Kentucky in the SEC tournament, which is interesting.
Right.
But the reality of it is why, and I know that they do this kind of mathematically by seeds, but why in the world you have two teams play each other in the early rounds year after year after year? Why in the world can you not do something about that?
And, you know, if that was no disrespect to Ole Miss's lineage in basketball, if that was Kentucky playing Ole Miss 18 times or whatever you just rattled off over the years early, you go, okay, well, Ole Miss really has no basketball lineage or heritage. Alabama's got basketball heritage and lineage. You're like, how do those? I mean, Kentucky's Kentucky in basketball. We get that, but Alabama's not Ole Miss. How do they match up that many? Alabama's had a 80s, 90s, all the way to modern. I mean, Leon Douglas and the boys in the 70s. Alabama's been respectful. How do they meet up that many times early in the SEC tournament?
I don't know, but it's just almost ungodly, frankly. I mean, I'll bet you in the last easily dozen SEC tournaments, Alabama and Kentucky have opened or played each other in the early rounds.
Yeah.
I would say 6 of 12, if not 9 of 12.
Am I fair? I want to throw this out and see if this is a fair statement. I think I'm going to go with it. I think it's true. We know Auburn has moved on to the semifinals. Auburn won today, a grinded-out game. Auburn moves on to tomorrow. They'll play the early semifinal, the 1 o'clock game. Opponent to be determined. If Tennessee is their opponent tomorrow, and Tennessee currently leads by 5 at the first media timeout, second half, over Texas. If Florida can get on into tomorrow, and if Alabama can get on and get to tomorrow, that would be the Big Four making the semifinals. Yeah. That would be Auburn, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama. I think I'm safe in saying if that happens, those 4 have done their work. And a loss Saturday or a loss Sunday, I don't think will hurt the losing team. Am I fair to say that?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, look, if you make the SEC championship game and you lose, that committee is not going to hold that against you at all. And again, we don't even know, and we won't know till Sunday, does the committee even put any value in the conference tournaments?
Yeah.
Because there's some years it's made a big difference, and there are other years to where it doesn't. Right now in bracketology, Auburn and Florida are ones, Tennessee and Alabama are twos.
And that can easily change.
So basically, Alabama and Tennessee are trying to get ones with Florida. I've said this before. I said this on radio in Huntsville a little bit ago. Florida's the best team in this conference, and I'm not sure Florida's not the best team in the country.
Might be.
Now, I do think that they do not need to sleepwalk tonight. I'm curious if you think they could. Now, what helps them is, you remember the Mitchell kid inside?
Yes.
Well, he's hurt, not going to play tonight.
I did. I saw him play last night, so he got hurt late in that game.
He got hurt in that game.
He's the transfer from Duke, the big boy, the big guy.
Yeah.
Nice player. Nice player.
Yeah, Mark Mitchell is his name.
Nice player.
Hit a right knee injury. Now, he may be fine, but right now they think that he may not be fine. And look, if you're going to the NCAA tournament, are you going to take a chance on that kid playing?
No, it's a lot like Cooper Flagg. I mean, it looks like Flagg will not play tonight.
Yeah.
But if I was Duke, you don't need the tournament. If I was Duke, he wouldn't play. Flagg wouldn't play tonight. He wouldn't play tomorrow if they make the championship, and he probably wouldn't play the first round. They're going to play a 16, a 16 seed. I'll give you another thought I want to talk about. We're going to take a break, Brent, here in a second. Come back and dive deep into Florida, Missouri. Let's look at the box score from Game 1 when Missouri beat Florida. I will say this: if you're a Gator fan and you had any reservation about are the Gators going to go hard in this tournament, I don't know if you saw the in-game interview with Todd Golden last night at the Mississippi State-Missouri game. Obviously, Golden was courtside scouting, and the entire Gator team was there watching.
Yeah.
Molly McGrath had a nice interview with Todd Golden in-game. He's scouting the game. And, Brent, you've seen enough coach speak and players speak and legitimate coach speak and legitimate. Todd Golden, his answers and that interview last night, he wants to win this tournament. I walked away from last night. He didn't sugarcoat it. He goes, "Hey man, Molly," because she asked him that basic question. "Hey coach, you guys are 27-4. You've won big games. You've beat good teams. You're pretty solidified. What's your philosophy?" He goes, "We want to win this tournament." I as a Gator fan, which I am, I was more confident watching that last night than I would have been not seeing it going into the night. Definitely. I don't know if you saw it.
Do you remember when she interviewed him? Now they were ahead at halftime by 20, and she said, "Coach, what's your message to the players with this big lead?" He said, "Well, we're up 20. Our goal was to get it to 30."
Yes, I do.
Now tell me.
Nobody says that.
Tell me how many coaches in the SEC would have said that.
Yeah, the week that happened, you and I pointed that out. No coach, and he didn't say it cockily, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word, but he didn't say we want to bury him. We want to kill everybody, sweep the leg. He goes, "Well, we're up 20, and you know what? I'm going to go in. You asked me what my message is. Hey guys, let's see if we can get it to 30." No coach says that. I was really impressed when he said that earlier in the year.
Hey, Terry, I'll clean this up, okay? Bruce Pearl was interviewed a few minutes ago. They asked him, have you heard this yet?
No.
Anybody sent it to you? That they were talking about, well, coach, your guards are really tough. He said, yeah, my guards aren't, and he used the P word. Now, this is family viewing here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the water in Nashville, but these coaches aren't real shy right now about expressing their opinion.
No, not at all. Hey, let's take a break. We're going to come back. Let's break down Florida, Missouri, Game 1. There are some interesting numbers from that game. As we go to break, Tennessee now has opened up a 10-point lead over Texas, 55-45. Still a lot of ways to go, 13-47, but Tennessee leading 55-45. Winner there faces Auburn tomorrow, early game, and then the 2 night games in Nashville will face up. You know what? I thought about going to Nashville, and I said, the games don't matter. Damn, I wish I was sitting in Nashville right now, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. My twin brother's up there.
Oh, Brent.
Brent. He got there a little while ago. He goes every year.
Oh.
Now, as you know, Huntsville to Nashville is 100 miles.
God, that's beautiful.
Maybe.
That's an easy drive, man. Easy drive.
That's an easy drive up 65. God. So I'll be excited to hear from him. I tell you what, that really needs to be somewhere where we go one year. If people, I've been, and it's a lot of fun. And people haven't been.
I've never been.
They owe it to themselves. And I tell you, Nashville is a perfect place to have.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I've never been to the SEC in Nashville, but I think Nashville is perfect, and Atlanta is perfect for the football. Mm-hmm. I know the headquarters are in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Atlanta is the transportation. It's Atlanta. Atlanta is the capital of the South, basically now. The modern. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's take a break. Brent, stay with us. We'll come back. Break down Florida, Missouri. You may have forgotten some of the wacky numbers. How Missouri ended up with a 1-point win, 83-82. Missouri beat Florida in their only matchup in Gainesville. The only loss Florida had in Gainesville this year in basketball. We'll break that down heading into tonight's 7 o'clock-ish tip-off, Florida, Missouri in the SEC basketball tournament.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. Channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Let me tell you something. How good is the SEC? We're back here, the Young and Norvelle Show on a Friday, coming to you live from our beautiful studio. Want to thank everybody that made the show happen all week. Of course, Patrick Young, he'll definitely be with us on Monday, wrapping up everything. Brent Beaird joins us again here on the program. How good is the SEC? I mean, like tonight, this is the quarterfinals of the basketball tournament, and you've got Florida, Missouri, highly ranked Florida, ranked basically all year Missouri. You've got Kentucky. They've been ranked back half of the top 25, but they're Kentucky. Alabama, top 5 all year. This is the feeling of a big-time Saturday football weekend, right? I mean,
it is.
And then tomorrow, semifinals. I mean, it's basketball, but it feels like a football Saturday where Florida's playing LSU at 3:30, and Alabama and Tennessee are knocking heads at 7:30. I mean, how good is this right now?
Yeah, it's tremendous. It really is. It shows you how much the conference has grown. Let me mention this as an aside here.
Okay.
And we're going to be involved with this Sunday. Is when I was on the radio segment in Alabama, the host was talking about James Spann is really a well-known meteorologist in Birmingham.
Right.
And they've got, these Torcon things that, it'll be a 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. Well, they're predicting tomorrow and early Sunday that in Alabama and in the deep South that the Torcon is 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Now that's rough stuff if that happens.
And we're going to get that here Sunday afternoon. Yes. And the golf not that we want everybody to be safe, but the golf tournament, you better get out today and tomorrow here because Sunday afternoon is supposed to be really ugly. Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a warning for people. And look, we're not saying people need to panic. We're just saying people need to be aware of what's going on. And now that's a good point. Now I heard, Terry, that of course, I mean, that thing may last to 7:30 Sunday night.
Absolutely it will.
But that it was help me on this. It was coming in here late afternoon Sunday or early evening, correct?
Yes. Sunday, I'm hearing 3-ish. And remember, your leaders will tee off to 1:30 to 2:30 probably. Right. They'll tee off. Yeah, obviously. And the tournament will last. There's a reason the clocks change the week before the tournament. They know they have to finish later than normal. Real quick, before we get back to basketball, speaking of the players, let me go over the leaderboard again really, really quick. As the second round is slowly, totally wrapping up, probably another hour and a half or so for everybody. But right now, Min Woo Lee is done through 2 rounds, 11 under. Batia is in second place, or actually tied at 11 under. J.J. Spawn, we talked about him. He's in through 2 complete rounds, 10 under. And then we have a couple of guys have finished their second round as well at 9 under, 2 shots back. Colin Morikawa and Roy McIlroy. A lot of guys still on the course, but that's kind of going to be the majority of your leaderboard heading into Saturday. We expect good weather tomorrow, and as Brent said, boy, noonish on Sunday, you might want to make your decision, and because it's supposed to be ugly. Second half of the day Sunday, which will be go time. That's when the leaders will go off. Unless somebody comes out of left field and they went off at 11 in the morning Sunday, your leaders, your top 10 guys, 10, 12 guys will start going off 2:08, 2:30.
I have a serious golf question here. What is I saw this headline the other day. It said, will Tiger Woods play in the majors this year? Terry, what is the golf media going to do when they finally realize that he cannot play anymore?
Yeah, and that is a little bit of a late headline because it was recently, within a couple days, reported that Tiger, working out, trying to play his way back into playing shape, has ruptured his Achilles again, so he's basically out all year. But you're right. I mean, Tiger is he's about to turn 52, so he's about to turn into either a ceremonial guy that plays just the majors and shakes hands, or does he go to the senior tour? But I don't think ESPN Sports Center on a random Thursday cuts to a live shot in the first 5 minutes and says, let's go talk to Tiger Woods live at the XYZ senior tournament in Phoenix. They've really played it out. You can only play out Michael Jordan so long before you say, you know what, he just doesn't fly from the foul line and dunk it anymore. Yeah.
Well, at some point, Terry, it's a lazy narrative is what it is.
It is.
And it's going to be the same thing with LeBron when he retires. We're going to cover him and
he'll never retire.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
He just won't go away. He won't go away.
Yeah. But and I won't belabor the point here, but I mean, it's just one of those things to where people have really got to realize, as far as Woods is concerned, his really now look. I'm not saying anything's possible in this day and age, but realistically, his days of playing competitive golf and making the cut and being in contention on Sunday are over.
Yeah, he'll probably play the majors on the senior tour here and there because he's Tiger Woods, and then he's thought of this, and this will happen, and it should happen. He then will be when Tiger Woods turns 60, and I think he's just now turning 50. When Tiger turns 60, he'll end up becoming the ceremonial Augusta National starter. You know how for years it was Nicholas Palmer, Player, and Trevino, and they die off. Well, Tiger, he'll end up being, and he may be the only guy. He may be the one and only until he passes or can't swing a club. But he'll do that from 60 to 80, and he'll hit the tee shot to start the Masters, which is a very, very prestigious thing.
And I don't know how much money the PGA has, but at some point, does television offer him a Tom Brady deal?
Yeah.
To become an analyst?
Yeah. And I would like to see him in that role. I don't know if he'd be good in that role, but I would damn sure watch at the beginning. He's trying that new indoor golf league, and I know it's early. I've watched a little bit. If you said Terry bet one way or the other, is it going to make? I don't know if it's going to catch on. Have you seen that? It's like they're playing golf in a massive warehouse with a simulator.
Right. Yes.
I just don't know. And that concept, in that warehouse golf simulator concept, what's going to drive it? And I don't think you have enough of these guys. It's the personality of the golfers. They're and I don't know if you've got enough personalities. In the NFL, I don't know if you had to drive your game by the chatter in game of the players. I don't know if there's enough compelling guys that are good enough at that.
Well, the thing you're saying is they need a half a dozen John Daly's.
They really, yes. And why John Daly's not right in the middle of that, I don't know why.
Really.
You know? I don't know why. Brent, let's get back to March Madness, SEC. Let's take a look at. I think tonight's going to be a hell of a game. I think Florida better take control early. I know Missouri's a little banged up. Florida comes in pretty healthy. Missouri beat Florida 83-82. They only played once this year in Gainesville. They only lost for Florida. Brent, looking back at the box score, Florida played terrible in the first half. They couldn't throw it in the ocean. They had a bunch of turnovers, and Missouri had a bunch of steals. Do you realize? I didn't realize that game was 50-34 at halftime. Missouri led by 16 at the half, and they couldn't miss. I just can't believe they're going to get off to that kind of start tonight.
No, I agree with that. It reminded me a little bit of the Georgia game in Athens.
Yes,
where Georgia gets up 26, and Florida has this ferocious rally and should have won the game, but you're right about that. And look, Missouri's got some players. We mentioned the Mitchell kid a few minutes ago, who is really good. The Grill kid, I mean, he steps off the bus in the parking lot shooting threes.
He won Sixth Man of the Year in the conference.
Yeah,
and that's his role in that game. I'm glad you brought Caleb Grill up. He's the Sixth Man of the Year in the SEC basketball. He didn't start because he's their sixth man. Duh. He did play 30 minutes because he couldn't miss. They couldn't take him out of the game.
Really?
Grill was 6 of 10 from three-point line. 6 of 10. He had 22 points off the bench. Clayton had 28 for Florida, but Florida dug such a hole. The Gators had a couple of issues. They lost the turnover battle by 5 in a 1-point game. If you've turned the ball over 5 more times, 13-8. And also, Missouri had 12 steals in the game to 5. Florida lost the game. A lot of people point to their missed free throws, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Florida really lost the game with regard to turnovers and steals. Missouri's athletic, man. They've got an athletic basketball team.
They really look, and they've got to cover this. Tamar Bates scored 25 points against Mississippi State in that game, and only needed 12 shots to get 25 points.
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
And if Patrick was here today, I think he would step in and agree. Tamar Bates, the wing, he's a wing from Missouri that can also hit the three-point shot. He's hell of an athlete guy. He's up and down the court. He gets a lot of points slashing to the basket. He's a lefty, and I think that helps him. Still to this day, you don't face that. I bet you face 90% right-handers, 10%. He's a lefty. And he had a throwdown dunk last night that embarrassed somebody. I mean, he's a nice player. He really is. I think Florida better be the Gators need to be close or ahead at the half because Missouri's the deal. Missouri's the deal. I'm telling you, they're the deal.
Again, they shot 50% from the field last night. That's hard to do.
It really is.
It's hard to do in an empty gym.
Last game. Another thing that hurt Florida because the Gators, if they do one thing well, they rebound the basketball.
Yes.
They normally dominate people. The rebounds in the first game were 37-36, so it was a push. It was a push. Florida's not used to getting pushed on the boards like that at all. It was also a very, very physical game. Chinyalu fouled out for the Gators. Yeah. And Florida also had 2 other players with 4 fouls. Missouri had nobody foul out, but they had 3 guys in the game with 4. Very physical. And a lot of teams can't go physical deep with Florida. Missouri did. Missouri went body for body with Florida.
Florida has unique perspective of being able to be the deepest front line team really in the league. Not only are they deep, but they're good. Yeah. I mean, every one of them can score. I still think my stars, when you think about I mean, Condon to me is easily one of the best players in the league. Now, he wasn't your first team all SEC. Was Broom, Clayton, who deserved it, Mark Sears, Wade Taylor, and Zakiah Ziegler, who's playing right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, you could absolutely make an argument that Condon could be the first team all SEC player.
Yeah, and I think what killed Condon was when he missed those 4 games because of that injury.
Mm-hmm.
He missed those 4 kind of not to Gator Nation, but out of sight, out of mind. And, that's 4 coaching staffs that didn't see him, opponents. That's 4 SIDs that didn't see him play. And then his first game back against Georgia, he was rusty. Yeah. So Gator Nation, and I remember following the game when Florida lost to Missouri earlier this year in their one and only game. I remember Gator Nation social media. Florida struggled at the free throw line. They missed a bunch of free throws. But I'll say this, and this is to Missouri's credit. If you look at the box score, in the Florida loss to Missouri in Gainesville, the Gators missed 10 free throws. They were 21 of 31. You should make 5 more of that. You should make – that's 68%. Keep in mind, Missouri was only 18 of 29.
Right.
So Florida actually shot free throws better than Missouri.
Yeah.
But Florida's issue was they missed a ton in the first half. The Gators were down 16 at the half. And Brent, when you have to work that hard to try to get within it's hard. Sure. It's hard to come back all the way because you generally run out of steam knocking away a 16-point deficit.
Well, and that's what happened when they played Georgia and got behind between the 6.
Same thing.
People need to remember, though, look, I know probably Pearl or one of these other guys will get the SEC Coach of the Year, but I can tell you right now, this Missouri coaching staff probably deserves it after being 0 for 18.
And
how in the world do you go 0 for 18 and you're right now you're number 7 seed in the NCAA tournament.
And I know Missouri stubbed their toe the last couple games in the regular season, but I'm with you. I'm with you. About 4 weeks ago, I said, how do you not give Coach of the Year to Dennis Gates? With he does, right. and I'll give you a little heads up. And this is particularly if the big man that you said, Malik, I'm drawing a blank. The guy that's going to
the Mitchell kid.
Mitchell, the kid that's going to miss time. You said tonight because of an injury. He's the Duke guy. He's one of their big guys. If he comes back, if you are out there putting together a bracket and you're looking for a team that might buy you 2 or 3 wins deep into this thing, Missouri, they would be a good pick. They would be.
I agree with that.
They could be a regardless of what happens in Nashville.
Yes.
Missouri could be dangerous.
They really could. Yeah, there's no question about that.
I like their team. a lot. Brent, you brought up coaches a moment ago. I want to stay with that theme. It seems like to me that we are watching Todd Golden mature, and I hate to use the next level. That's a sports cliche. It seems like we're watching Todd Golden mature as a coach, and he's going to that next level. He looks like he really knows how to run a game now.
He really does. And I'll tell you one thing, he would never admit this, but you know good and well that lawsuit got in his crawl.
Of course it did.
And he is hard about that. I mean, to his credit, he's handled it very well, like he should have, and I'm sure like his attorney told him to. But Terry, to your point, it's not going to be easy for him to keep that staff after this year. And now I don't think Golden's going anywhere right now, but you know good and well, Florida's going to have to pay him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Particularly, Terry, if this is what we think it could be, I think this team can win the national championship. I will say that unashamedly. And look, he would be a hot commodity then.
No, he would. If this thing was to play out in favor of Florida, and Gator fan may say, wait a minute, sir, you said in favor of Florida. If the whole thing with Todd Golden and Gator basketball was to play out, they win a title, they are a next 2 or 3 year contender. Right? They're really good again. They win.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate Todd Golden will probably get one more mega contract, and certainly he's going to go try the NBA at some point. He's young. He's young. He's young. He's got the look, doesn't he?
He does. He really does.
He's a nice looking. He's still young enough. He's hip. He's with it.
Yeah.
He kind of dresses and he wears. And I know this all matters. You know what I mean? Billy Donovan had that look. Billy Donovan,
he did.
At some point, it didn't take a rocket scientist to go, as successful as Billy Donovan is, he's going to go dip his toe in the NBA. Todd Golden will go to the NBA. It may be 10 years from now, but he's certainly got NBA written on him, doesn't he?
Now, think about this. Two of the SEC's better coaches, in Nate Oates and Todd Golden, came from places that a lot of people don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, Nate Oates came from Buffalo.
How about that?
Yeah. Now Golden came. Terry, was it San Francisco?
Yes.
What? Yeah.
Now let me catch people up. The University of San Francisco Dons, not San Diego State.
Right. Correct.
Who was the running back? And that's a legitimate. Now, the University of San Francisco does have, and Golden took them to a tournament.
Yeah.
In 3 years. So he's been to a tournament twice with two teams. But University of San Francisco, they do have basketball heritage. Bill Russell went there.
Yeah.
Bill Russell.
Yes.
You look at other coaches in the league. Nate Oates, I could see coaching in the NBA. Also, Nate Oates is modern and he's with it, and he's I could see Nate Oates. Bruce Pearl, he's on his downside and he's on his second.
I agree.
He's where he needs to be, I think.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree with that? And same with Rick Barnes. Even if Tennessee got hot and went deep, Rick Barnes, with his age, he's a college coach, and then he shuts it down.
Yeah.
But Golden and Nate Oates, I mean, those guys could go to the bright lights of the NBA easily.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that. And I think Chris Beard is in that bunch. They haven't won a lot, but they're much better than they were. And then the Mississippi State coach is a good coach.
Jans. Chris Beard. I don't want to get deep into this, but he kind of got falsely accused, right? I mean, he took Texas Tech to the Final Four, and they're good. They're still good. And remember, he got exonerated. I don't want to get deep into it, but some serious charges against him, and he was exonerated. But he lost his job.
Yeah.
But he lost his good job, and that's how Ole Miss got him.
There were some domestic questions about that, as Terry said, well, we'll leave it there. But for the discussion here, what is the epitome of this is this league right now has some of the best coaches it's ever had in the entire league. And a lot of people are amazed where they've all come from. Yeah, I agree. The coaching has really elevated the coaching, and then they went and got the players. But the coaching really elevated. Brent, we've got a few more minutes here, and I want to go over some national college stuff real quick if we have time. Is there anything we're missing college football-wise that we need to hit? It's kind of a lull in the mix right now. I know practice has started for a bunch of places. They're just now getting out of shells, I think, a lot of places. They are. Yeah, Miami's been off this week for spring break. Alabama's been off this week for spring break. Georgia started Tuesday, and then Florida's been started. Florida State now starts next week. Yeah, they moved everything back. Yeah, they start on the 19th with the new coaches they added along that line too. We mentioned Dan Lanning got a big contract at Oregon. Dan Lanning's is making Zach money right now at 11 million. Kirby's still number one at 13 million. Ryan Day is up there. Also, So yes, that and the other thing going on, not only are coaches not having spring games, but they're not even streaming them or having them on the radio.
Man, we got to change.
Which
Brent,
is pitiful. What you've got to do to fix this is you've got to move that portal off and away from April.
Yeah, yes, you do, and they will. And old war horses like you and me, man, spring football is supposed to be there for me, and a spring game, just like the college football magazines. They're dying on the vine. They're supposed to be there in May on the shelf, and I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Hey, staying with spring football for a moment, I'll tell you one thing. I'm intrigued by a bunch of programs. What will offense look like at Florida and FSU? Can they come? Blah 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 blah. A lot of points. I am so intrigued because to me it's in that transition year. What are the Georgia Bulldogs going to look like?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
They took a half step back by their standards. Their offensive line, which was a stronghold for 6 or 7 years, wasn't Georgia. New quarterback, a little bit of. I am so intrigued about Georgia Bulldog football this year.
Well, and look, here's the problem with Georgia offensively. They average 125 yards a game. They led the nation in drop passes at receiver.
Yeah.
And they allowed 25 sacks.
Yeah.
Which is basically 2 a game.
Yeah.
And people may say, well, Terry, Brent, that's not much. Well, Terry, 2 sacks in the SEC,
yes,
will cost you a couple of games.
It really will. And what's ironic too, the areas you just mentioned that were negative for Georgia, none of those were Kirby's bread and butter. He's a defensive guy.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's fuming, going, "Hey man, I got to get some guys to get this offense going." But I am so intrigued with Georgia football. They've been so good and so cookie cutter and so push button.
Mm-hmm.
But last year they kind of staggered. And we talk about, forget Nick Saban in Alabama, the programs that have the runs, those runs last 5 to 6 or 7 years. Not 13 or 14. Move that aside. Right. And Georgia's at that 5 to 7 year dominant run, and they took a little step. I know they went to the play. They took a little step back.
They did.
That was not a Georgia offensive line, and that was those receivers were not Georgia level. That wasn't Pickens and Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey catching everything. It's going to be interesting, and with Bobo coming back, Bobo's coming back. What's that going to do to Georgia Nation?
Look, people don't understand, or they won't know this until the season begins. Bobo's contract goes through the end of the 26th season. Woo. So Bobo is going to be there this year and next year. And listen, Terry, Bobo is the offense coordinator. He's a quarterback coach, and he is I forgot what the other thing he is on that. It may be run game coordinator or something like that. But now he gets a lot of blame for a lot of things. But the truth of the matter is, what happened last year, I don't think was Mike Bobo's fault. And by the way, Mike Bobo's son is maybe the starting center at Georgia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I don't want to bury a guy, and I don't want to bury a local guy, but I read a piece today about Georgia football and Gunnar Stockton.
Yes.
And I don't want to bury, what's his name from
Carson Beck.
Local kid from Mandarin. I don't want to bury him, but man, it seems like Beck's natural personality might not have jived with the Georgia team and Kirby. It appeared, if this is right, that Kirby and Beck, once they got together and they were married, you're my starting quarterback, they may not have jived. Conversely, it sounds like Gunnar Stockton if the Georgia team voted, most likely to succeed and best all around, he would have won the vote of best, in high school, best all around. Gunnar Stockton would have won that vote. It seems like Stockton he's got the it that Georgia locker room wants. Not bearing back, but have you heard that a little bit?
Yeah. Stockton loves fishing. He's got an old truck. He talks slow. He's just a good, and we're not being disparaging here. This is just the way it is. He is he's just a good old country boy.
Yeah.
And he's a really good athlete, and he is going to be the guy there. Now look, for the people watching, Terry and I don't keep up with this stuff, but what we've also heard is, I think Carson Beck and one of the twins he was dating at Miami, that they broke up or they had a little spat or something like that.
Oh, wah.
So I know you're upset about that. I'll have Zach bring you some Kleenex.
Oh, the Miami basketball girls, right?
Yeah.
Twin basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, Carson. Oh, young love. Hey, Brent, young love, I tell you.
That's right.
I tell you. Right. Hey, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. Wow. Young love.
That's what that Sex Panther cologne does.
Oh man, yeah. I may have to send him a little bit. He'll be on. Hey, Carson Beck, 22, probably 23, tonight, driving around South Beach in Miami in a Lamborghini. He'll be all right.
I tell you what,
he'll find somebody to get in that passenger seat, won't he?
Yeah. With that NIL money, I think he'll be fine. Seriously, my concern for Beck at Miami is there's a lot of promise every year, like it was last year, and then at the end of the year they lose 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
they lose to Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
I mean they're just every year. And Cristobal is pretty solid coach. He's a good recruiter, but every year Miami has 1 or 2 just unexplainable losses.
Yep.
And that's just the way it is. So that they've got to get Bain healthy on the line of scrimmage, and that they lose Extra Pro, who is really good. I mean, he was a record-setting wide receiver for them. So that's going to be interesting to see how they do. And again, the Gators go there in September.
I'm glad you brought that up. We're starting to wrap up. I know should be doing basketball. We've done a lot of basketball, but we've branched off to Miami and college football. Miami's schedule. Whoa. Beck. After 5 games, Beck will either be running for mayor of Miami, or might be run out of town. Miami opens up Notre Dame.
Yep.
It's in Miami, but they play Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. They've got Bethune-Cookman. They're going to win the second game. They're going to beat USF in the third game. They then have Florida in Miami. So they've got Notre Dame and Florida, 2 of the first 4 games, albeit at home, but 2 of the first 4 games. Off week, and then they're at Florida State, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Their first 5 games, they've got Notre Dame, Florida, and Florida State. If that goes sideways, Beck's getting run out of town on a rail, fair or foul, and it was a ugly transfer. God.
Yeah, well, the same thing. You can say the same thing with Florida State.
Yeah.
If Florida State loses, if that's an ugly game with Alabama to begin the year, and then you mentioned the Miami game, things may not be real well in Tallahassee either early on if that continues.
Yeah, I know we've got a lot of months to do this, but you've intrigued me like a son of a gun. And you and I talked last week. I want to tip my hat to Notre Dame. Their schedule heats up finally. They had a terrible schedule. Notre Dame has a good schedule this year, and good for them. But here's what you're talking about with FSU. FSU will host Alabama Saturday the 30th, one of the marquee games that's going to get great TV play. A first-year quarterback that's a scrambler, that's not a great pass. I think Alabama may beat the snot out of FSU to open the season. They've got East Texas A&M, off week, Kent State, so they're going to win those. At Virginia, then they've got Miami.
Yeah.
They've got Miami. So they got Alabama and Miami at the top half of their schedule.
That's right.
Florida looming at the bottom. They also catch Clemson this year on the road. Woo! Woo! Mike Norvelle, you better win some games, my man.
Clemson is done, and we'll get into this more later. Clemson has really done gangbusters with their recruiting as of late. Now Dabo is willing to take it more of a chance now.
Yeah, you think?
on the portal. Now Clyde Klubnik comes back at quarterback, so that's going to be an interesting team to see how much better they are this year.
Real quick, we got about 4 minutes left here before we get out here on Friday. It's been a fun week, fun Friday. Enjoy the rest of the weekend with golf and all the basketball. Tennessee looks like they're going to go ahead and close out Texas. 2:10 left in the ball game. Tennessee leads 78-65. So how about that? Tennessee-Auburn setting up for a semifinal. Winner of Florida tonight, Missouri. Winner of Kentucky tonight, Alabama, setting up. Boy, as we expected, the SEC semifinals could be big. That could be as good as an Elite Eight. Elite Eight Saturday in basketball.
Yeah, it's almost. But we like to say this, but it's almost chalk. Frankly, with the four. Terry, serious question: Why is Texas not any better in basketball?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. They had the Kevin Durant 1 year run, one of the great players in the history of basketball. I think they went to the Final Four a couple years before that with a little guard, but they just can't get it going in basketball.
And they've had Rick Barnes there.
Yeah, Barnes was there
too. So I mean, and they've had some good teams. They've had some pretty good tradition. I would just. You would have to think that that's going to be a priority for that.
Yeah, they can't sustain. It's just one of those sports they can't sustain. Quick, looking around the rest of college basketball tonight, the intrigue, North Carolina Duke. The intrigue number one, North Carolina needs a win.
Sure.
They don't need to get blown out, but Flagg and Brown are probably out for Duke, two starters. That's the intrigue there. 7 o'clock national game to keep an eye on if you're a Gator fan, particularly, and an SEC fan. BYU is at Houston. BYU is a good side. BYU is capable of beating Houston. If Houston lost, that may open up another one spot for the SEC. An ACC game that will have seeding implications. Clemson, Louisville tonight in the semifinal game. Winner probably gets a little better seed, and they're both in the tournament. That's one. An interesting game tonight as well. Marquette at St. John's. St. John's, they're red hot. Rick Pitino commands respect. I don't like Pitino, but they're chasing a number 2 seed. St. John's really needs a win tonight to get at least a 2 seed. Oregon at Michigan State, kind of the same thing. Oregon's a pretty good basketball team. Michigan State's hot. If State wins, they probably lock up a 2 seed going into their conference championship. So there is other basketball other than the SEC, but man, the SEC is compelling.
It is, and I do want to add real quick. You were talking a few minutes ago about coaches who have gotten, and Todd Golden gotten 2 teams in the NCAA tournament. Well, Ricky Pitino has gotten 6.
Is that
different schools in the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
Hey, Terry, and I'm being serious here. Boy, Heidi, okay, you reach for joy. We're in the NCAA tournament. Who we play? St. John's. Oh, man. When the last guy you want to play in the NCAA tournament will be a team coach by coach.
Absolutely, because I don't like him. He's a slippery snake of a person, if you ask me. He's a used car salesman. I don't want to buy a used car, but I'll never, ever, ever tell you, in my opinion, that Rick Pitino is not a good basketball coach. I think he is a good talent acquirer, and I think Rick Pitino is one of the rare guys. Game day, he can make a difference on the sideline.
He really can.
There's no doubt
about that.
There's another guy like that. I don't dislike him as a person as much as I think I dislike Pitino. Tom Izzo. He's another guy. Guy. Tom Izzo knows how to coach postseason basketball.
Man. Absolutely.
And if you are a a team, you're right, man. If you draw, particularly Patino, because St. John's is not going to excite your team probably.
No.
At least Michigan State's, hey, that's Magic Johnson's school, and they're from the Big Ten. St. John's, I think if you draw them in the second or third game round, man, hold on tight because you might not be able to get your team's attention, and the other coach could coach your ass off. You know, he could really win a game. Brent, we got to get out of here, buddy. 40 seconds left. Can't wait for the weekend, man. Should be so much fun. Obviously, the Players' Championship, and then great basketball. We think the next 2.5 days leading into a championship game. Monday tip, championship game of the SEC. Florida, Missouri scheduled tonight at 7. Maybe a little bit of a massage because, you know, these games run long. But the Gators trying to make it to the semifinal round where they would play either Saturday against Kentucky or Alabama. That'll wrap it up. Appreciate Brent Beaird. Appreciate Zach Rothrock. Appreciate you folks. We'll get back together on Monday, 4 o'clock. A lot of basketball, Selection Sunday, and the like. Have a great weekend, everybody.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com. and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bolt City Heating and Air at Bolt City.